For people who aren't writers and have a message, it's really just like throw up on the page. But people in this world don't want to read 300 pages. They'd rather read 3 100-page books. What I love to do is work with people who have a compelling message that keeps coming from their heart, keeps them awake at night. They think about, they wish for, they dream of, but they don't know where to start. They've had these 3 things of lack of clarity, low confidence, lack of commitment. And I love to bring that up because that mission is something that's not only going to transform them when they birth it. There's a reason why people call people who do the work that I do midwives, and I hesitate to that, but there is a birthing process that happens. The person changes, and in getting that message that, like a child, will go out into the world, makes a difference. Because, you can be here for the ages if you choose to. And that means you're not here for yourself, even though you are the vessel, you are the one that's doing the work. But the birth of this message that goes out into the world that supports the vision that you have is not about you. It's about the people that you're helping. And for me, that helps me get out of my way. Like, this isn't about me.
No, it's huge. It's huge. Do you ever have to stop people from looking at all of the details so that they don't freak themselves out?
Oh yeah, the details are stopping points. And the details will really squelch the creativity. For people who aren't writers and have a message, it's really just like throw up on the page. Like, just don't worry about the word structure. Don't worry about it being in a perfect readable form. Just get your heart, like, get out of your head and get back into your heart. Let your heart speak. The details can be taken care of later. That's what we call editors.
I've asked you this before, but for the purposes of our audience, I'm going to ask you this again because this was in private. I asked you this. What are your feelings then if staying out of your own way and seeing when you're writing stops you? How do you feel about dictating and then having that transcribed? Would that be a way to do it?
You can absolutely do that. If you can, like for me, I'm not an auditory person, although I will say, and you know this, I wrote a children's book when I was walking once because I was visualizing the characters. And so the words would come to me about what that character would say. And I would pull out my phone and I would just like send myself a verbal email, an audio email. So I would have it when I got home. So when creativity hits, get it down, capture it. What I wouldn't want to see somebody do is dictate as in perfect word structure, as in you're giving it to a clerical person to transcribe perfectly. We don't want that to happen. Right. But if you can speak from your heart and let it flow, like be a preacher. Preachers don't think about what they're going to say. They get up on the podium and they just preach, and they're getting the message and then they're letting it come out. If you can do a transcription that is like a preacher, the answer is yes.
So do you ever encounter people then who are attached to what they think the manuscript's supposed to look like and it's actually stopping them?
Absolutely. And I can tell you so many times because it is a creative process. Sometimes the manuscript comes out exactly as the person originally envisioned because they had the clarity. And sometimes when it's a little wobbly at the beginning, then not being attached is really good because then we just go into the creative process and let it unfold. And because you and I have also spoken about this, is that sometimes people want to put everything they've ever learned in their whole life and they want to share with the world in one book. People in this world, even though I read a quote from the 1700s, but people in this world don't want to read 300 pages. They'd rather read 3 100-page books, because if they can get one takeaway in that first book that lights them up and moves them on, your job has been accomplished. Then you can offer a second book that person will come back and buy, and it lights them up and they move out into the world, rather than they get a book that they just can't get through and it goes on the shelf and is never pulled off again.